I wanted to read this quote before Shelley's story. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm is all about. Shelley Davis has been storytelling since 2017. She is the visionary person who brought this soul collective into light, and we want to thank her and appreciate her quiet voice, her vision, and her beautiful spirit. So give it up for Shelley. And please hang in there. We've got some beautiful stories still coming. Thank you all.
Thanks, Emily. 11 years ago, February 1st, 2011, I was sitting in my office at the University of Chicago when the news alerts started coming in across my screen. An epic snowstorm was coming, and it may include thunder. Thunder, I thought. No way. How bad could it be? I grabbed my gym bag and went to the Y as planned, and I took a nice long swim, and the guards looked at me and said, "Do you know what's happening outside?" And I said, "Yeah, I heard a storm is coming." I took a long shower, picked up dinner on the way home, and we settled in to watch the storm. First, it seemed like a few flurries, then more, then big flashes of light, followed by thunder. What? It was crazy. We woke up the next morning completely snowed in. The news said that people had been stranded on Lakeshore Drive for hours, and there were many car accidents. We opened the back door, and the snow was over our kids' heads, who were 2 and 6 at the time. I had mixed feelings about being snowed in. On the one hand, I love snow. I love the quiet stillness it brings, the fun that it creates, but I was distracted. I had been one of the casualties of the 2008 recession, and although I had knit 2 part-time consultancies together, I still had to bill weekly, and I felt nervous and insecure. I wondered, what if the storm caused such a disruption that I wouldn't be able to bill my hours? And on top of this, the airports were closed, and I was scheduled to go on a girlfriend's trip in 2 days. 3 of us were going to Puerto Rico. 2 of them were high school friends that I had just reconnected with. And honestly, I really couldn't afford the trip. I had cashed in my miles for the plane ticket and planned to use my credit card for expenses, taking the leap of faith that I would eventually work full-time again and be able to pay back the debt pretty quickly. For 2 days, I played with the kids, packed my bathing suits, and watched the snow from my window. And I wondered, is everything going to be okay? Was I really going to be able to go on this trip? Would I get another full-time job soon? And if I was really honest with myself, I wasn't looking. I was wondering, should I be doing something else? I felt stuck and haunted by these questions that were on repeat in my head. The morning of my trip, the news announced that O'Hare would be open at noon, which was perfect since my flight was at 3:30 the afternoon. Our street was still unplowed. Our cars were still snowed in, but Omar, the kids, and I bundled up to walk me to King Drive. I held the kids' hands as we struggled over the mounds of snow, while Omar practically carried my suitcase on his shoulder. Walking that 2 blocks usually would take us about 10 minutes. It felt like it took a half an hour. But when we got to King Drive and Omar set my suitcase wheels on the clear street, I felt like running. I felt like running out of the storm and running into a new adventure that was waiting for me. And I didn't even look back. I didn't even turn around to see if they were able to make it home in the snow. Instead, I walked down the middle of King Drive straight to the train. And when I sat riding to the airport, I told myself to stop. Stop worrying, stop second guessing myself, just stop. I was on one of the first flights out of O'Hare that afternoon. And in Puerto Rico, the four of us fell into a really easy daily routine. We spent our mornings and afternoons on the beach. We would take turns peeling away from the group to take a business call or to work on a project. And then we would return a little bit more relieved. During our happy hours, we would try on outfits and make up our faces and clink our glasses and yell at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on TV. After dinner, we would stream music and dance in our Airbnb living room. And in between the lounging and the swimming and the drinking, we shared our worries. It turns out I wasn't the only one asking questions. We had all just turned 40 the year before. We were all piecing together self-employment consulting gigs or trying to launch sole proprietor businesses. And we were questioning everything. Were our kids going to be okay because of or in spite of our parenting? Is our partnership and marriage going in the right direction? What will the future offer us with this crazy economy? And the trip had been a financial stretch for all of us too. But we had chosen to pamper ourselves. We had treated ourselves to a break, and we finally had a moment to take a breath. We were able to restore ourselves through the warmth of the sun and the rhythm of the ocean's waves, and through our collective laughter. I realized I wasn't alone on that trip. My inner tape of self-doubt was similar to theirs, and somehow knowing this made that tape become a little bit more quiet, a little less persistent. I emerged from those 5 days feeling more calm, and I came home feeling more settled. I gained some self-confidence that I and we would emerge from the storms of uncertainty with more clarity and a little bit more grace. Thank you.